Good morning, everyone. Let us go back to where we stopped last time. So we were discussing how to write a constructor for the rectangle class, right? So we got an error. Yeah. So for that error, when we wrote this parameterized constructor, it was fine. With the three types of constructor, it was fine. Then we actually first we wrote three types of constructors: the no argument constructor, the parameterized constructor, and the copy constructor. So it was working fine. But then what I did was I made use of default arguments. Okay. So the way to, if you're having a function prototype and a function definition, and you want to write a function with default arguments, then in that case, I had written the default argument value here, right? I had written the definition. You have to actually write it in the declaration. You have to write it in the prototype. So that was a mistake, and because of that, that error was coming. So if I remove this and write it there, if I remove this and write it there, again I'll get that error that this kind of constructor is not available. That was the error which was coming, right? You recollect. This I had put here.
Yes.
These values I had put here, if you recollect. So because of this, it was not identifying the constructor, because here in the signature itself, see, the signature tells you what type of function it is, right? What are the arguments, what is the return type. Now in this case it's a constructor, but what are the arguments, is are these default having default values? So in C we did not have default values, but C++ we have default. So if you're writing a prototype here, then you have to write it in the prototype itself, the default value in the prototype itself, otherwise it will not work. Okay, so if I write it here, so it gives me this error, no matching function for call to rectangle. Okay, so it is assuming that this is of double. I mean, it is containing it. There should be some constructor in my program which will have a single argument. So it is assuming that, and it has not found that here, no, in the declaration, because here I have not mentioned the default parameters. Yes or no? Had I mentioned the default parameters, it knows that I can pass a single value here. I can have a construct object which has a single value. Fine. So that is why it was giving there. So again, I removed that. So now it is running. Now it is running because I put it back in the correct place. Now it has seen, okay, there is one constructor which is taking default values. So that is why I can have this kind of a call. This kind of a call is valid. Okay. This is also valid. This is also valid. Can I have something like rectangle R1? Yes. Can I have this?
Yes.
Yes, right. Because it is, both are default arguments. So default values I had given as 1.5, 1.5. By default, the rectangle length and breadth is 1.5, 1.5. So that is working. What I have done here additionally is I have removed this. I have removed the no argument constructor. Why do you think I have removed the no argument constructor? If I put it back, will it work? Will the program work?
I think it will not work
Why? Why?
because when we just say rectangle and without saying and giving anything in the parenthesis, it could mean two things: either the no argument constructor
Very
or
good.
the constructor
Parameterized.
with
Hmm.
default. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So what is happening? There'll be a conflict, right? Because it will not understand whether The compiler will not understand whether to call this function or to call this function, because this function will also accept a no argument object, right? So there'll be an ambiguity. So let me run this. I put that thing back. Let us see what error it is giving. See. So it is giving me this error. Can you see the error? Call of overload rectangle is ambiguous here. So it is getting confused between those two. Okay. So you have to be careful. So when you're using a default values in the constructor, then you have to be careful while overloading that you don't violate any rule. So overloading, you should not have something like something which is ambiguous, which can, this also can be called this, that also can be called. Don't confuse the compiler. So write the program correctly. So this is not allowed. So I remove this. Okay. What about copy? Copy has worked correctly. Copy is not getting conflicted because it is taking an object of reference type. So it is not having, see, these are float values. So this is not going to get conflicted. Okay. Remove this. So this is about the rectangle class. Now all of you, please write, I want you to write on similar lines, the circle class. You remember circle class? I want you to write the constructor for that. All of you, please type it out, the constructor for the circle class. Try to use overloading of constructors, different constructors. Let me see, I'll give you 5 minutes. Who writes it quickly? So I'll keep this program for you here. On similar lines, constructor for the program for circle class with constructors. See, this is only half the class. After constructor and printing, there are the methods which should come. The area and the circumference. That is missing. I'll just complete that in the meanwhile. Look at the constructors. You can. Yes, anyone I'll ask randomly to share the screen. Huh?
Ma'am, we have to show only area or circumference also.
That
No.
is okay. I'm more interested in the constructors.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. You can see one more constructor which I have written here. It is not any of the typical constructors that you have. Okay. But what it is doing is it is actually comparing. It is creating a new object based on the length of the objects which it is having. Okay. So there are two objects which it takes. So either the length of that object is set to the first object of the new object that is being created by this constructor. It is either being set to the first object or the second, depending on whose length is greater. So if the first object's length is greater, then the new object becomes the first object, becomes a copy of the first object. If the second object's length is greater, then the new object becomes a copy of the second object. That is what this constructor is doing. So to call it like, so if you see the call, line number 44, okay, what the new object R5 will be either of R2 or R4. R2 and R4 are already constructed, they are already initialized, they are already created. So what you're going to do is, depending on whose length is greater, so R5 will become that object. So R5 will become either R2 or it will become R4. Okay, a copy of that. So R5, R2 that you have written, what is its length? It is 4.5. R4 that is there, what is its length? It is 7.5, right? So, so the length of R4 is greater. So R5 will automatically become a copy of R4. That is what is happening. Yes, so have you written those three constructors for the circle?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see who will share the screen now.
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, Namita. I'll stop sharing. Just a minute. You share. Yes, Namita.
Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, I wrote the area. Here I had used a copy constructor with the help of which this I got the circle. I calculate the area. Here, with the help of the parameterized constructor, I passed the value of radius as x. So, and then later in the main function, I called this again over here. Here, sorry. And the default constructors are already there to calculate the areas. With the help of default constructor, calculate the value of area of the circle.
No, no, no. So here you have not used any default arguments, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes.
So
I
if you are
didn't pass
not
that.
using default arguments, then you should have a default no argument constructor.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Yes.
Otherwise, when you create an object, that will have garbage.
Yes, ma'am. I got it.
Good, good. Yes, you can stop sharing. Okay. So let us move on with another example, a more real world example. So let us create a student class. Okay. First of all, let me define what it is, what exactly we have to do in that. Let me present again. The student class. Okay. The student class is having some data members which we require for the student, whatever data we need to save for the student. So you have UID, name, and marks. Marks in say 3 subjects. Okay, three, whatever, 5 subjects. Now we'll take just for the example 3 subjects, so it will be easy to run the program. 3 subjects. Okay. Then you will have some constructors. So let us keep a parameterized constructor. Okay. And then what we will have some way of read. So what we have to do is we will read the details. So using this constructor, we'll create the student with the marks. And then what we will do is we will compute the total marks. So there'll be one method called compute total, which will give you the total marks. What else we can do? We can create an array of students. So what we'll not have one students, but we'll have multiple such students. So what we will do is we will create an array of students inside main. In main, what we will do is we will create an array of students. And for these students, who has got the highest marks? So there'll be one method, highest marks. So it's going to compute the highest marks from among all these students, right? So let us try to model this. What we will do is for initializing, we are not going to use setter method, we are going to use constructor. That's the difference. Rest all, I think it is similar. Yes or no? Compute, we have already worked with array of objects. We have done in the examples array of objects how to pass. So that we will see. So the only thing is constructors we are using. So let us see how to use it. You have to help me to write the program now. Okay, so so class student. So what is the private part? The all the data members. So we have defined UID and the marks. Marks is an array.
Ma'am, don't you have to add the header for the string?
Very good. Hash include string. Okay. So what constructor we will have here? Tell me.
Student.
Student. And what will be the, we'll have parameters here.
UID name and the marks list.
Sorry, float. Okay, I'll define it outside. What other methods I told you? I'll just switch to that. I have compute the total marks of the student and find the highest marks amongst all students, right? So for this, what will be the parameters? See, compute total is for each student, right? And float, this one is for the highest marks, right? So this will contain an array, right, of students. Okay. So let us define these functions before. So these are all the prototypes. We will define the functions here outside after main. So first is a constructor. First one is a constructor. So how will you write it? How do you write it outside main?
The class name, then the
Then the scope
scope
resolution.
resolution operator, then the constructor.
So I'll show you one thing here. What if you want to write the same names as the data members here in the function. What happens if I write this as UID? If I write this as name, and if I write this as marks, so what has happened?
They are separate variables of the same name.
So usually when you write it, you say UID is equal to U. If this were U, right? You say UID is equal to U, right? Data member will come on the left hand side, right hand side will be this parameter, whatever it is. Now it will become something like this, right? Name is equal to name, right? Marks
Yes.
of 0 is equal to marks of 0, right? Marks of 1 equal to marks of 1, and marks of 2 is equal to marks of 2. But will this work?
No.
This will work, this will run fine. But what will be the problem? This is a local parameter, right? This is a local parameter to this. This is a special function constructor, but this is a local parameter for this. So this will have precedence over this. This is which is not there inside, right? So what happens is this in fact these variables, these data members, these are global for this. These are outside, right? This function. You can access them inside because this is a function of the class. You can access these data members inside. They are private, but you can access them. But since the name here which you have specified is the same as this, so in this case what happens is whatever is local will get preference. So what you're doing is in effect this UID only you are assigning to itself. This name only you are assigning to itself. This marks of this 0, this local parameter you are assigning to itself. Okay, but it is, instead of writing U, N and M, it is good for me if I write it is easy, it comes natural, easy for me to write the same data member name. Okay, so what is the way around this? I make use of a special pointer called as the this pointer. This pointer is a keyword. This pointer actually refers to the current object which is getting initialized, or the current object which is calling some method. So if you're calling a method, okay, it is referring to the current object. So I said this arrow, this is a pointer, right? So this object's UID, the current object's UID is equal to UID. The moment I say this arrow UID, I'm referring to which object? Which object? Whoever is calling this constructor, the object which is calling the constructor. Okay. So by default, it will refer to this UID, that object's UID. That is what we are doing, right? Whenever you create an object, that object's data members you are initializing one by one. Yes or no? That rectangle's length you are initializing with whatever is passed, right? In the rectangle program, whatever is passed, what you're doing.
Yes.
Rectangle's length you are initializing with this 4.5. Rectangle's breadth you are initializing with 3.5. That is what you're doing. Okay. So that rectangle is the this object. So in this case, a student, whichever object you are looking at creating inside main, that is this. Okay. So this object's UID is equal to UID. This object's name is equal to name. This object's marks, and arrow operator everyone knows. It's a pointer. This is a pointer. So you cannot use this dot. You have to use this arrow. Okay, so this is one new concept that you have learned. This pointer. This pointer is referring to the current object which is invoking a constructor or which is invoking a method. Okay. Now once you write this, your constructor is defined. We will define these two functions quickly. If there are more number of marks, you can write it inside a loop, huh? If there are 3 marks, so I'm writing it this way. There are 5, 7 marks. You can write a for loop and just replace this with I. That is what you can do. And then highest total. So highest total, what will we have here? The actual variables. So this is an array of students. N is the number of students. N. So I say I need to find which is the highest total. So how will I do it? I will run a loop, right, for all the students. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
I is equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. So what I will do here, I need to call this method, right? Compute total. I have made a mistake while writing the methods. What is the mistake? It's a method of the class. So what is the mistake?
Scope
That
resolution
Dot.
operator.
Scope resolution operator, right? So this has to be float followed by the class name followed by the method name, right? Return type, class name followed by the method name. Correct? Now we will write this. This particular method highest total has to call the method compute total, yes or no?
Yes.
So how will you call it? Using the object name.
The dot operator. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So now we have computed the total. What we have to do, we have to compare, you have to find the student with the highest total, right? So we need one variable called max or highest, which is going to find. So this is like finding the max. Find max algorithm you have to apply here. Compute the highest total, yes or no? So this max is a function actually. So I'll just use high. Okay. So this high variable initially, what will this high variable be? Some value you have to
0.
initialize. 0. So if, let us take this in some variable again, total. Okay. So if total is higher than high, yes or no? It is greater than high. Then what happens is high becomes total. Correct? That is what you need to do. So this will compute the highest marks of the student. This logic, finally after this loop, you will have the highest marks. Yes or no?
Yes.
But what else do we require for this method? We need to find out which student has got the highest marks, so he'll get that certificate or trophy, whatever. Yes
Is
or
or
no?
Y.
I didn't get you. What were you saying?
Store the value of I plus 1.
Yes. Store the value of I. So what we will do is, so I say correct? So now I have the index also. So what I will do is, I have the I have this object. Okay, I know S of I will be that S of index will be that student who has got the highest marks, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what I will do is, I will simply, instead of float, I will make it void. This is one way I can do it, and I'll print it here. Okay. There is another way which allows you to return the object. We'll see that later. First, let us write this simple function which we are comfortable with. So cout right, and so what we can do is, we can write a print student function. What will print student do? Print student is going to print the details of the student. UID, UID will be printed. Then what else? The marks. Marks 1, marks 2, and marks 3. You can make it more complicated and have different subject names and all that, but I'm just making it simple. Okay, and what we will do is, here how will we call this function? S of S index dot print student, right? I'm going to print this student, a particular student's details. Okay. So this function has to be defined. Now inside main, I'll create an object. I'll create the array. Now what I have to do is, I have to initialize these 5 students, okay, or n students. Let me write n is equal to 2 only for now, or 3, 2 or 3, whatever. I can take n from the user. I have to initialize this array of 5 students. So how will I do it? Now for that, I require one thing. I require a loop, right? I require my loop. Now in this, I need to call this constructor. I need to call now. This is different. Watch how different it is. This is different from the usual way. So because see, we don't have a simple object. Otherwise, simple object will be there. Then you simply say, na, this the name is this whatever, and the UID whatever it is. First is UID, right? I don't know what I've written. UID name, yeah. So UID. Okay, here I've written the okay. First one is UID. Anyways, so here I mention whatever UID is there, something, and the name. Okay, it's not a simple object like this, and then the marks. Okay, this I can read from the user and pass it, but still it is not a simple object. It's an array of objects. It's an array of objects, right? So how do I do it? Can I say S of I is equal to student with these values? So what I will do is, first of all, let me read the values. What are the values? The name, the UID, and the 3 marks I have to read now for each student. So I'll create 3 local variables here. Sorry, string name UID. Let me write UID first. UID is there in the constructor first. String UID name and float marks of 3. Okay. So I say S of I. First of all, I'll read. So I will, what I will do is, so what do I do here? I'll just prompt. I'll ask the user to enter name UID. And the marks. Marks 1, marks 2, and marks 3. Once I do this, then I can say, then I can initialize the student object. So I say S of I is equal to, I call the constructor here. I say S of I is equal to student. What are the values I need to pass? UID, name, and marks.
Ma'am, would it not be like S of I? Then we'll put the parenthesis and within that UID name and marks for object creation.
So first of all, you this is giving me an error. So what error this is giving me? There is no matching function for call to student. Okay. So whenever I have a parameterized constructor and it is not having default values, okay, I have to create something which is having no arguments. I need to have this no argument constructor. If I'm initializing, if I'm having something like this, if I have student student S5, I need to initialize. So if I have something like student S1, okay. So if I have something like student S1 also, or any array which I'm creating, since I'm not passing the values here itself, then it is looking for this no argument constructor. So if you're having a parameterized constructor, you should have a no argument constructor if you are going to initialize a student like this. I mean, if you're going to create an object directly without giving the initialization, it is not going to go to the default constructor. So whenever, if you have a parameterized constructor which is not having any default values, so if it is not, since I have not made any default values here, so in that case, what you need to do is, you need to have a constructor which is not having any arguments in your program. In the previous example, we made this as default. That is why it is working. Otherwise, it will not work. If you write something like this, it will not work. It will try to find something in your program itself which is having no arguments, and it is not able to find. So it will give you an error. Okay, so this is one of the rules which you have to follow. There are many such rules. We will look at all these. Okay. Now, what error is this?
Ma'am, in line 35, you haven't added the extraction operator.
Right?
Our next lecture has started.
Yeah.
So,
I'll. So we'll continue with this example next time then. So this constructor I added, I just have to add the signature of that. I've just added the prototype. I have to complete that.
Ma'am, will you please share the recordings so it is easy to
Yes,
for us to revise?
yes.
Ma'am, also this program.
Yes, I'll share it. I have to complete this program. So rectangle program I'll be sharing, which is complete, whatever we had done. This is yet to complete. So I'll complete it and share it with you so that you can refer to it. Tomorrow we'll discuss it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.